communities with diverse needs and priorities, as you kind of alluded to when you were talking. What specific experiences prepared you to effectively represent residents of District 34, and I guess we're talking about it in the entirety in the Florida Senate, and why should voters trust you with this responsibility to represent?
Excellent question. Thank you so much. As a Haitian American, I have experienced what it's like to live in a household where people are working 3 or 4 jobs. I myself, at the age of 16, I had 3 jobs just to help my family out. My children are half Puerto Rican, so I understand what it's like to be in a Hispanic household, a Haitian household, an American household. Having those experiences in all these different communities helps me to understand how to fight better for our communities. I was also an educator for many years at Holy Cross, which is a school in North Miami. I was their youth director, and then I taught math and science. I've had students that were homeless. I have students that have experienced hunger. I have students that have experienced many, many issues. And so I am fighting for our next generation. Part of my platform, oh, sorry, thank you.
We're going to see this.
1 minute, please. Our next question is for Attorney Gant. Attorney Gant, since you have already served, I'll amend it just a bit. If you could tell us 2 or 3 measurable accomplishments you've had or would like to achieve if the residents of District 34 were to elect you within your next term, and how would voters know if you are successful? You have 1 minute.
Thank you. So I will say one of my personal successes was a claims bill for Leonard Cure. He was wrongfully convicted here in Broward County and was released, and the legislature saw fit to compensate him for the years that he was incarcerated. I've been able to bring back money for different programs, and I didn't have to compromise how I voted. I didn't have to side with Republicans on controversial bills in order to still get money in the budget, and for it to make it past the veto pen of the governor, who I have been very critical about. And I've also measured my success in what I've been able to kill. So in Tallahassee, there are a lot of bills that get priority. And those bills, although we have a supermajority and superminority status, can still be killed by effective questioning. As a former educator and as an attorney, I've been able to effectively...
Time. Thank you so much. The next question, Ms. Simon Jules, will be back for you. Many candidates across Florida are discussing issues like, as you alluded to, affordability, housing, rising cost of living. What specific policy or legislative proposal would you champion that would make a meaningful difference for families and businesses in District 34? And how does your approach differ from your opponents?
Well, if you go to my website, christineforfel.com, you'll see all 6 pillars, but I only have a minute, so I'll tell you the one. I am fighting to bring back our film and television entertainment tax credit. When we lost that tax credit in 2016, thousands of jobs went to Georgia. And I love me some Georgia, but Florida is where it is at. So we need to bring those jobs back into our backyard. And what differentiates me from my opponents is that I'm the only one that has a plan to bring jobs back into our community. We don't just need any job, we need high-paying jobs. And I think that that's a step forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question, Attorney Gant. Immigration, as we mentioned, continues to be a major issue for many Floridians. If elected to represent Florida Senate District 34, what specific policies, even though we know it is a federal issue, what specific policies or legislative actions would you support to address immigration while balancing border security, public safety, and the need for Florida's communities to have immigrants as an economic driver?
Thank you. So, as we all know, and as a former immigration attorney, immigration policy, substantive immigration policy, is on the federal level. So at the state level, what I have seen happen over the last 4 years are repressive policy that's been passed, like E-Verify. I would file legislation to repeal that. And I will also file legislation to repeal the ban on Dreamers becoming lawyers in the state of Florida. Why is that significant? When Floridians who have been here all of their lives, only know the United States as home, are restricted from being able to accomplish what we know as the American dream and become maybe the first attorney in their family here in the States. That is a policy that restricts them from actually being Americans. And so that was passed this past term. So I will repeal that, and I will also repeal E-Verify, because that has just become an economic strain on small businesses. Thank you.
Thank you for your answer. Don't get too far from the mic. The next question is for you, Representative. During election season, voters often receive campaign material that contain claims about candidates and their positions, and some of these claims are not accompanied by supporting evidence or sources. As a candidate, what responsibility do you believe campaigns have to ensure accuracy of the information they distribute, and what advice would you give to voters for verifying claims they receive before casting their ballots?
Thank you for that question. So that is accurate. As an attorney, I know that there is something called defamation and libel per se. So when I communicate to my constituents, my record speaks for itself. When I talk about the money I've been able to bring back, that's track data. That's actually something you can look up. When I talk about what I've advocated for, you can look at that on my bill history. When I talk about what I've fought against, you could go on the Florida channel, which is an archive. You can search my name, and you can search every single committee I've been on and every single floor debate that I've done, because I've been a vocal advocate in Tallahassee. So the responsibility is, do your research, Google. If this person has been in office, you can find out if they are true to their word, and you can find out what they've actually done. If they haven't been in office, they should have some type of evidence on their website or their socials that actually show what type of tangible evidence in the community that they've demonstrated that would qualify them to be able to go to Tallahassee, understand legislation, and represent you. Thank you.
Thank you. To Ms. Shannon Jules Olivo. Florida has expanded school choice, charter schools, vouchers, and other alternatives to traditional public school. What should be the proper balance between parental choice and the state's constitutional responsibility to provide a high-quality public educational system? If public funds are used for private education, what academic, financial, or other methods of transparency, or even civil rights standards should be applied to make sure our public schools still meet the community's needs? You want me to do that in 1 minute? I got this. All right.
My children have received step-up vouchers, right? And my children are now currently public school kids. I have lived both lives. One thing I will say is our public schools deserve to be fully funded. And every dollar that belongs to a public school should stay in a public school. As accepting vouchers as well, I understand the need for a parent to want to put their child in a school that maybe is faith-based or just maybe a Montessori. That's fine. Put that on a separate line item. The vouchers program should come from a separate budget line item. It should never pull from the public school system. And moreover, these schools that want to cohabitate in our public schools, get your own building.
Thank you very much. Our next question will direct to you, Representative, again. Our residents here in the state of Florida, as we know, we face rising costs for housing, insurance, transportation, health care, food, and other necessities. What affordability problem should the legislature be addressing if you are elected and what type of legislation would you introduce or support if you're returning back to office?
Thank you. So I'll start with the Live Local Act, which is a developer's gift, early Christmas gift. I would start with repealing that because, first of all, it took away local control. Secondly, it takes away the ability for the community to actually have say in how their community is developed. And third, it caps the AMI. So the AMI is the average medium income. If we expand that, then the term affordable housing becomes much more inclusive. So I will repeal the Live Local Act. I would also address something that a lot of people don't think about, which is early child care or child education. As we see the $15 minimum wage become the standard next year in 2027, that means families are going to be falling off from eligibility for subsidies, which means people will be out of the workplace. So expanding that eligibility for those subsidies for families with young children to retain early care is also legislation I will support.
This is the last question for this wonderful competitive race. I also just like to mention there is another candidate in the race who is not present, and that is Ms. Shannon Iguodaro. All right, and finally to Ms. Shannon Jules Olivo. Did I say something? No. Okay. Florida's healthcare system includes significant debates over Medicaid, healthcare costs, provider access, and availability of services. What is your position on expanding healthcare access to low-income Floridians and, of course, Medicaid expansion? And how would your approach address the difference between having nominal coverage, just to say you have it, right, and being able to actually afford a good doctor, prescription drugs, a specialist, or being able to pay for a hospital visit? Your answer.
So I'm a Medicare for All girl, but I understand that there's going to be steps to that, right? We have to work with our federal elected officials on that. So part of my 6 pillars is telehealth care for all. I believe that every individual in this entire state should have access to a doctor via telehealth. We had it during the pandemic. There's funds left over to make it happen. I believe that it would save, not just I believe, research shows that it would save millions in emergency room visits, and you would be able to access a doctor on your phone and get a diagnosis early, and we could save lives. So my first step would be making sure that everyone has access to telehealth care in this state.
Closing remarks, ladies. Thank you again for making the time to be here with your constituents. So I think, Representative Gant, you open, so you will have the first floor. 2 minutes closing. Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of challenges in Tallahassee. It's not easy, right? We're facing against a Republican majority. And since I'm in a church, I'm just going to go ahead and speak to the church folk for a minute. Luke chapter 5 talks about a paralyzed man trying to get through the crowd to just touch Jesus, right? And his friends could not get him through the crowd. Did they stop? No, they tore off the roof. I dare you to elect a leader that is willing to tear off the roof and get you the resources that you need by any means necessary. We are tired of living the way we're living. We are tired of saying that, oh, it's a Republican majority, this is hard, we can't get this passed. We will find another way, but we cannot go on like this. My name is Christine San Jules Olivo. I am your neighbor. I am your friend. I am a small business owner. I have felt what you feel, and I live the way you live. And I just ask you to trust me to go to Tallahassee, not just to fight, but to deliver for the District of 34. Thank you. God bless you.
Representative Gant.
So, I never wanted to be a politician because I liked being a private citizen. But in 2022, I knew that my complaints couldn't be the end of it all. I knew that if I wanted to see the change, I had to be the change. And that's why in 2022, I challenged a 30-year incumbent, and I won. 6 months before the election, I went out, I knocked on doors, and I told people what I was going to do in Tallahassee. And you know what happened? I went to Tallahassee and I did it. I learned that you do have an uphill battle with a supermajority in Tallahassee, but that doesn't mean you cannot have results. I came back every single session, every single year with results. And the next time I ran, my community sent me up there in a mandate of 24 points over the same opponent that I unseated. So now as I enter this race for the Senate district, it is knowing that I've worked the last 4 years with my senator who has brought results for this community. From my senator who has brought a lot of money, millions of dollars to this district, even in the face of saying that it could not happen, even in the face of people saying that our district was not worth it. And so with that level of leadership, I plan to continue it and bring what I have as an attorney, as a former educator, and continue to advocate for public schools, continue to advocate for families, continue to actually say affordability is possible, because I know what repealing a bill does, I know how to attack bills, I know how to kill bills, I know how to pass bills. And so that is why I am running for Senate District 34. I am number 96 on the ballot, and I ask you to trust me again how you have trusted me every single time I've been on the ballot to represent you in Tallahassee. Thank you.
All right, let's hear it for our candidates for Senate District 34. Thank you again, once again, to Rep. Ashley Gant and Ms. Christine Saint-Jules-Olivo. Thank you, ladies. Adequate. Actually, we have a waving hand. Do you have a question for the ladies? You have a question for the ladies? I will allow it. Ladies, you could just, okay, but sorry about that. Yes, ma'am. We will follow the protocol. Thank you very much. We'll take 2. Forgiveness is a virtue. Praise God.
That question is for me. Yes. Absolutely. So I am being sued by my former opponent for saying that he sided with radical Republicans when he voted with Republicans as a Democrat. Those are the statements that have been attributed to, not me personally, but during the campaign. Oh no, it's still in litigation. We actually have a hearing on August 18th.
Oh, wow. Okay, so pending litigation. It is a lawsuit that is active. All right, and we have another question. Can you introduce yourself?
Absolutely. I'm Eugene Gold. I'm also a candidate running for county commission district. God bless you all. My question is jobs, high-paying jobs. So how can we get Tallahassee, and I know they don't like us, how can we get them to get us more high-paying jobs to invest in our communities, to bring those dollars back home? Because God knows we need them. And so at the county, we're going to do everything we can to invest.
Okay, question.
So how can we get Tallahassee to send us the resources that they have not?
Ms. Saint-Jules, we'll start with you. 1 minute.
I think the first step is working across the aisle. I think a lot of the times we want to fight and go back and forth, but their districts need high-paying jobs too. So finding a way to meet in the middle and say, okay, not only will we have high-paying jobs, but especially now with this immigration crisis, we're going to need to come together and fill a lot of positions that we're losing. So I think that working across the aisle, number one, obviously the film and television entertainment tax credit, if we can bring that back, we can have high-paying jobs, especially in the entertainment industry.
So if we look at legislation that was already passed that preempted high-paying jobs like counties being able to pay living wages, that is the first step with repealing that restriction and that preemption. Because county governments were already paying living wages according to the demographic, the economic demographic of their area. So when you have private companies working in a public capacity, the state preempted that. The first step is repealing that, because those were professional jobs and those were high-paying jobs, allowing our local governments and our local electeds to meet the people where they are, and that's what they were doing, to allow them to do that again. That's step one. Step two, my cousin was actually the film commissioner in Miami-Dade County, so I actually have personal experience with, to her point, the film industry and providing that tax credit. But it has to be provided in the legislation in such a way that it comes from, oh my bad.
Time. You have a question here? We have two more, one here and one there. And we will, in the middle, please.
Hi everyone. I wear many hats, but one of the hats that I probably get to wear is that I am a vice chair of a youth advocacy organization that advocates for children that are impacted by the foster care system or have been homeless as young adults. And what we're seeing at the state level is that there's a lot of resources allocated to youth that enter homelessness as have experienced foster care, but those who have never experienced foster care are losing resources both at the state and the federal level. So I wonder, how will you prioritize these young people in the discussion of education? How do we, support them?
All right, Representative Gant, then.
Okay, so one is educating myself on what are the causes or the common causes of the homelessness when you're talking about youth that have not been in the foster care system, and looking at, is there a pathway to provide housing that's linked to trades? Is there a pathway to provide housing that's linked to higher education? What does that look like? What does the demographic look like? And the first step would be starting a pilot program for here in Miami-Dade County to see what the effective approaches would be, and then create from that, get a study, and then apply it across the state. And so understanding what the causes are first, and then providing solutions that address those causes, and not just giving blanket statements, would be how I would approach it. That is a population of children who are not from foster care, but do not have parental support once they reach the age of majority, that we have been looking at, but I don't think it's been studied enough to have substantive
That is your time.
solutions.
Thank you. Thank you.
So as I mentioned, I have had students that have experienced homelessness, and I want to make sure that organizations like His House or Covenant House, those organizations have the appropriations that they need to keep going. I also want to make sure that all of our families have mental health access, because a lot of these, we want to fight for prevention, right? And we want to communicate and make sure that families can communicate with each other and that we can help our families. So number one, making sure that these organizations are getting their appropriations requests in and we are getting them the funding that they need, and making sure families have access to therapists, licensed therapists, that can help their family sort of get through their emotional and communication barriers.
Thank you. And our final question in the back, please stand, introduce yourself.
My name is Carlos Aguilar, and I'm also a local attorney. And in the last 40 years, government policy in housing has been to offer tax cuts in the hopes that these developers would develop housing. It's been a failure. So it's been 40 years of debate. Anybody who's looked at this problem fundamentally is the lack of inventory. So my question to you is, what policies do you have that will change that neoliberal tax policy failure, that makes it impossible for people to live?
All righty. Ms. Senan Jules Olivo.
So I just want clarity on the question. Are you asking sir?
No, just take it as how you interpreted it. Go ahead.
Okay, well, number one, it's not about the tax credits. We need to fight these developers and make sure that the people are getting what they deserve. If you're going to be building in our areas and just banking off of tax credits, you have to deliver for the community. If you're going to come into our neighborhoods, we want parks, we want things for our communities. It's not just about collecting a tax credit and then you're able to build whatever you want to build, and you interrupt our infrastructure, our water, and all of our resources. So I'm getting that, I'm answering that based on the way I see it, that the developers get all these tax credits, but what does the community get in return? We want our fair share as well.
Thank you. And final response, Representative Gant.
Thank you for that question. So I was one of 6 people in the House that voted against the Live Local Act because I saw what it was. It was a sham, and it was a developer's early Christmas gift. Now, the Live Local Act allows for this affordability to be stated but not actually done. And we've seen the studies come back since Live Local was enacted where it has not provided what they said it was as far as availability of affordable housing or even added to the inventory. So first step is repealing the Live Local Act. There has been substantive policy that has been actually introduced by the Democratic House Party that addresses what it looks like to have developers actually create housing, have actual policy that allows renters to have rights, because that was repealed by the Republicans as well. And so when you have strengthen renters having the ability to have a say-so in what rent looks like as far as rent rate, you have affordability being attainable.
Time. And that is it. That is all she wrote. Once again, let's give them an encore. Thank you for that encore, ladies. We do want to hear directly from the people. We appreciate you, again, making the time to be here. And again, this will be a critical decision for the people of Senate District 34. So we are going to pivot now. I'm going to hand it right back to my partner in crime here, Mr. Rodney Baltimore, as we prepare for the next race.
All right, I'd like the candidates for Congressional Seat 24 to come and take their seats. All right, what I'd like to do, most of you, I know I've dealt with most of you here, but I'd like you to introduce yourselves to the audience here, Ebenezer, and we're going to start on the far end with Mr. Davis and go to Attorney Breen, to Gilbert, Mr. Meek, and Shed.
So we'll let you know your time is 2 minutes. Start with your introduction, and please tell us why you are running for this seat.
Thank you. My name is Marshall Davis. I was born in Overtown, raised in Liberty City, raised my kids in Miami Gardens, and now I live in Miramar. For the last 43 years...
Audience, please.
For the last 43 years, I worked at a government institution where I've made some amazing things happen. I've helped people that have realized their highest dreams. I've had work with students, seniors, teens, homeless, foster parents, whoever, that needed an opportunity to improve their lives. Many of the students who came out of the most impoverished area has made the greatest achievements. One actually won an Academy Award. Many notable activities has happened at the place where I work. The Mandela boycott was stopped. The Habitat community with Jimmy Carter was there. So these are some of the few things that made this program and my services significant to the community. I'm here because District 24 is a very dynamic district. It covers all the way from the Adrian Arts Center just below the airport here in Broward County. It goes over to Pembroke Pines, and it goes all the way down to the airport here in Miami. So with my creative skills and creative ability, I think I have a lot to add and offer. District 24 is a multi-art, multicultural district, and it helps me some of my skills to make it affordable and to make it work. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Rod Vereen. I am, as Rodney Baltimore said, an attorney. I've been practicing federal law, state law, criminal law for the last 36 years. I was born in Germany my father was a soldier, my mother was a nurse. I grew up in Carroll City, graduated from Miami, Carroll City. Attended college at Florida State University, law school at Southern University, law review and moot court. I was the first African American to ever run for state attorney in the history of the state of Florida. I'm the first African American to ever serve as an assistant federal public defender for the Northern District of Florida. You all know me, but you may not have known my name. I'm the reason why kids in District 24 don't get direct fire when I ran against Kathy Rundle. I ran for this office in 2010. 16 years later, I'm running again. When I ran for the office the first time, 1 out of every 3 children lived in poverty. 1 out of every 3 seniors lived in poverty. The poverty rate was 14% at that time. Now, in 2026, 1 out of 5 children live in poverty. 1 out of 6 seniors live in poverty. The poverty rate is 18%, and 1 out of every 3 households in District 24 are led by single mothers. The problem with our district, and the reason that I am running, is because our leaders have no innovation. They continue to leave us in a stagnant position. Do you understand that District 24 is the poorest district in the state of Florida? We have pockets of wealth, but the majority of its residents are living in poverty-type situations. You've heard about the housing situation. You've heard about the housing crisis. This is real time. We're living in the real world. It's not time for games. And as I told you, this is the time that you all, as the voters, have to decide who do you want to be your voice in Washington, D.C. I ask that you do your research. Google my name. To know me is to Google me. Trust me on that one. We need innovative thinkers. I am an innovative thinker, and I can bring prosperity to this district. Thank you. Rod Vereen.
Thank you,
Good evening, everyone. I'm Oliver Gilbert. I'm a county commissioner of Miami-Dade County, former mayor of Miami Gardens, born and raised in Miami Gardens. Miami Northern Senior High School, FAMU undergrad, University of Miami Law School. Listen, the question was actually, why are you running? Look, I've been working locally for a while and being successful. I can talk to you about my record. I'm running, though, because I've observed something of Washington and to some extent Tallahassee. I've observed that great minds talk about ideas. Average minds talk about events. And really small minds, they talk about people. Washington is talking about people, but it's not even the right people. We're having a conversation about a man who needs to be on his way out instead of how you can pay your bills. We're so busy yelling at each other. We're so busy calling names that we forgot there's somebody who can't afford their prescription medicine. There's someone who's choosing whether to pay this bill or their mortgage. There's someone who can't send their kid to college. Enough. Frederica endorsed me because I saw problems in Miami Gardens. They told me I couldn't turn the city around, and I did. She endorsed me. She endorsed me, and labor endorsed me. Because you're not going to hear anyone say I didn't work for working families. I didn't solve their problems as a county commissioner. She endorsed me because of my record. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kendrick Meek. I'm going to be your next member of Congress. Some of you may know me by my family name. You may know my grandmother, the late Congresswoman Carrie Meek, who served this community for many, many years. You may know my father, Congressman Kendrick Meek, who carried that legacy in Washington. And now I'm running as a third generation of leadership, and I really hope I can earn your support. But let me tell you a little bit about myself. I was born and raised in this community, not too far away in Biscayne Gardens. I'm a proud grad of the University of Florida and the University of Miami School of Law. Go Canes. Go Gators, too. And I've worked on Capitol Hill. I'm the only person up here that actually has federal policy experience. I've worked under the Biden-Harris administration, where we passed the Inflation Reduction Act, which lowered the cost of prescription drugs for Medicare recipients. And for the past 3 years, I've been serving as an attorney here in South Florida. So I know a little bit about how the system works and how it doesn't work for working people. And that's why I'm running. Because all the while our gas prices are at $5 a gallon, while we can't afford our rent, while we can't afford our mortgage, while we can't afford basic repairs, our leaders are more focused on climbing the political ladder than they are on delivering for us. That's the reality we face. That's why we need a new generation of leadership. That's why I'm running for public office. And again, that's why I hope I can earn your support on August 18th. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you. Stacey Jones. Ladies and gentlemen, can you hold your applause down, please?
Good evening, everyone. First of all, it's good to be here. My name is Chevron Jones, and I have the awesome privilege of serving as current state senator for Senate District 34. Let me tell you one thing first. You have a table full of qualified candidates, and that's what I'm happy about. This conversation that we're having today is not the battle of the candidates. It's about who will bring the best ideas to serve you. My name is Chevron, and I've had the awesome privilege of serving you for the past 14 years. 8 years in the Florida House, 6 years in the Florida Senate, and serving in one of the toughest legislative bodies in this country. But not only was I able to serve in this tough legislative body, I was able to deliver results in that tough legislative body. It wasn't just because I was a nice person. Because if you study and you watch the work that I've done in Tallahassee, I'm not afraid to go toe-to-toe with anybody. And I will hold your feet to the carpet. But I didn't get that from anywhere. My mother and my father, a pastor, my mother, a teacher, raised in Miami Gardens and moved to Carver Ranches, that were built on faith and service. It was service that took me to the classroom, and the classroom that took me into politics. Why? Because I saw that there was a disconnect between the system and the kids I was teaching. The children who I was teaching could not read or they could not write. I asked the principal how and what we could do to begin to change what these children's lives were dealing with. He said the politicians would change it. And so I said, I'm running for office. When I got into office, I thought education was going to be the only thing I dealt with, but it wasn't. It was dignity for incarcerated women to ensure that women who were in jail had access to free feminine hygiene products. It was police body cameras for individuals who make sure that while your child is out, to make sure that they are safe and that they sure that they can make it home back to you safely. It's the Teddy Bridgewater Act that some people thought that would never happen, but it happened because you brought it to me to make it happen. I know the work that I've done, and we will continue to do that work in Washington, D.C. the same way we did in Tallahassee. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. We have a full house despite the rain outside. That speaks to your commitment to community. Thank you for being here. Again, my name is Dr. Rudolph Moise. For the past 55 years, America has been my home and my hope. For the past 40 years, I've spent my life serving as, number one, as a physician, caring for patients, as an attorney, standing for justice, as a colonel in the Air Force, serving our nation, and as an entrepreneur, creating jobs. I've also served in numerous leading institutions like University of Miami, where I was president of the Alumni Association. Number 2, president of the Dade County Medical Association, which is all the doctors in Miami-Dade County, and also chair of Jackson Memorial Foundation that raised money for Jackson, which is one of our community most vital public hospitals, and also chair of Mocha Museum. So I decided to run because District 24 faces numerous challenges. It's all about affordability, as you heard. Rising cost of living, rent, gasoline, groceries, unaffordable health care. I know about this because I speak to my patients every day. Because I was asking for the health care, I say, well, how is life? And they tell me that. So I want to use my 40 years of proven leadership to tackle this problem and improve the community. Thank you.
All right. We, again, do have a full dais here. We are missing a couple of individuals, however. But I would like to remind our fantastic audience that we would like to remain respectful and hold our applause, if we can, please, until the very end. Again, we want to make sure each candidate is granted the same amount of time, 1-minute responses, all right? And we will allow rebuttals. For those who just came, I just want to revisit what we've already discussed. We will allow rebuttals at the moderator discretion if needed, all right? So each person will receive a unique question and 1 minute to respond accordingly, all right? So we're going to start with Mr. Marshall Davis. We'll go in alphabetical order. Mr. Davis, I'd like to ask you, what do you believe are the 3 greatest challenges facing District 24? And because you only have a minute, can you tell me which is the one you would like to address first, and how would you address it? You have 1 minute.
Thanks for the question. One of the challenges of District 24 is understanding the scope and the people that live in District 24. I heard that this was the most impoverished area. It has a block of impoverished people. I live in that area. I work in that area. I've done some wonderful things in that area. But it's also significant that we understand that there's another higher echelon. There are millionaires and billionaires in this district. There are businesses that are coming in here that we need to make sure that they're doing fair share in helping our community grow, expand, and survive. So those are the things that I think we need to look at. Where we are, who we are, and how we can improve ourselves.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. The next question is for Chairman Gilbert. It is economic. Housing costs continue to rise across Broward and Miami-Dade County, of course, as you know. What federal policies would you support to make home ownership and affordable housing attainable?
Well, when I answer questions about housing and housing costs, I talk about supply and demand, and I talk about rapid mass transit. People don't always see those things connected, but they are. Listen, housing and housing costs, not just affordable housing, but the affordability of housing, is primarily predicated on supply and demand. We have to build more, but we can't add more cars because we're already congested. We need rapid mass transit, not just through this county, but we need rapid mass transit through this region. We have to actually build along those corridors. We have to be able to add capacity without adding cars. People don't want to talk about it. That's the number one long-term thing. But we can do things like first-time home buyer program. We can increase that. We can cap the actual principal and the interest and give you longer to pay. We can do those things. But if we're going to affect it long-term in this region, it has to be rapid mass transit. It has to be densifying those corridors. And that will help with, listen, it'll help with affordability. It'll help with resiliency. It'll help with traffic. It does a lot. Thank you.
Next, we will direct our question to Senator Chevron Jones, and it has to do with the topic of health care. Many residents struggle within District 24 with healthcare affordability and access. Would you support expanding Medicare, Medicaid, or another federal health care program? Please explain how you would address this issue on day one.
Thank you so much. First of all, Florida should have expanded Medicaid a long time ago. So let's put that on the table. And I think in the legislature, every year, not only did I support, last year I sponsored the expansion of Medicaid. Did it go anywhere? It did not. Why? In South Florida, in District 24, we have the largest whole of Medicaid recipients in the entire state of Florida. And the fact that we did not expand Medicaid is a problem. On day one, not only will I sign and co-sponsor anything that is looking to continue to incentivize states that want to expand Medicaid, but also make sure that we're bringing those benefits, community hospitals, back into our community. It is not right that individuals have to drive miles and miles in order to get access to health care. We have to put money back into our programs to bring community health programs back into our community so people can walk to their community health clinic, or they can even take a quick bus ride to their community health clinic. Having to go to the emergency room every single time, not only is it not efficient, it is not the right way to keep people healthy.
Thank you, State Senator. Our next question is for Attorney Meek. Many families continue to struggle with inflation and wages that have not kept pace. What specific federal policies would you pursue to improve economic opportunities?
So the first thing I would do, again, wages aren't rising fast enough to keep up with inflation. I think people need immediate relief. So I would suspend the federal gas tax, which would save folks money at the pump, but also save money across the board. Because when you think about it, how are groceries delivered in a truck typically? How are your packages delivered in another truck that uses diesel and fuel, and all of that is taxed by the federal government? If we suspend that for 6 months, we lower the price of everything, not just gas, but everything on the market. So that's the first thing I would do. But to expand economic opportunity, we have to make sure that our folks are educated. So I would support free vocational training for folks that want to work with their hands. I don't think that having a 4-year degree is the only way to get to the middle class, or at least it shouldn't be. And I would also make sure that we have free community college. I think there are a lot of folks that want to get an education but can't afford it currently. That's the way that we can fund our public schools and ensure that we can train our workforce for the economy of the future.
Thank you. Our next question is for Dr. Rudy Moise, and it has to pertain to education. Public schools remain one of the most important institutions and most powerful institutions in our communities. How would you strengthen public education while also supporting higher education and workforce development?
I believe that every child, regardless of your zip code, should be access to the best public education. I would get a fund to fund public schools, increase Title I funding for the students, tied up the training program, tied up to high-paying job, like infrastructure, healthcare, technology, those high-paying jobs. I would also support the Ignite Excellence Act, which is started by the United Negro College Fund. And this program is a program that is actually, it's in Washington pending now, that will get millions of dollars from Congress to actually fund all of the historic black colleges. And those will go to infrastructure, to research, and to paying the teachers, and also a variety of things.
That is your time. Thank you, Dr. Moise. All right, let's hold our applause. Thank you so very much. The next question would have been for Commissioner Jean Monestime. I just want to make sure, is he present? Okay, absence is noted. So we will then go to Mr. Roderick Vereen. Your question, sir, is what reforms do you believe are still needed in policing, sentencing, incarceration, and re-entry of returning citizens?
Oh, wow.
1 minute.
1 minute. That's a loaded question. Having practiced in the criminal justice system for the past 36 years, I can tell you right now that there's still a lot of discrimination. There's not only just discrimination based on race. There's discrimination based on sex. There's discrimination based on economic status. I've seen rich people walk out of court. I've seen poor people be hauled off to prison. Courts are given some discretion. Right now we still have what we call 10-20 life. All right? If you pull a firearm, it's 10 years. If you possess it, 10 years. If you shoot a firearm, it's 20 years, whether you shoot somebody or not. And if you shoot somebody, it's 25 years, and if they die, it's mandatory life. Courts, judges have no discretion when it comes to that. I think we need to, one, get rid of the 10-20 life, because I see too many minorities being prosecuted under that. How much I can go on, but I think that's my time.
That is your time, sir. Thank you very much. All right, I will take the next question, Mr. Marshall Davis. And this has to do with Social Security and Medicare. Many seniors depend on Social Security and Medicare. Would you support expanding benefits?
Please.
We are very passionate about these issues. I feel you, right? Would you support expanding benefits, protecting current funding, making other reforms, and actually just making sure it stays solvent? What are your plans?
I do plan to support Medicare and Medicaid. I think our seniors deserve the increase. They have been the backbone for this country for so many years. They have put their funds in, and they deserve the payback for them. I think we need to look at ways that we can improve the services of Medicare and Medicaid, even for small businesses, that there should be some type of collective, that small businesses can come together and form a insurance company that would help pay and lower the costs for their individuals. I think we need to do more for our seniors. We need to also make sure that they have not only the medication they need, but get the information on nutrition and improving their lifestyles.
Thank you very much. This next question is going toward the chairman, Gilbert. South Florida is home to immigrant communities, obviously, from the Caribbean and Latin America. How would you advocate for a more humane and permanent immigration policy?
Well, the first thing I would do is remind them what they did for the immigrants who came from Europe. We're not asking for so much different. Listen, we've been dealing with poor people coming to this country from struggling home countries for 250 years. And now we found this new philosophy that we need to send folks back. No, we didn't send Irish, Italian, Polish. We didn't send any of those back. If we're being honest, this is prejudice dressed up as policy. This is the whitening of America through its immigration policy, and it's ridiculous. The first thing I'll do is I'll just call it what it is. Our immigration policy needs to reflect our character as a country, which means we take people in. And it needs to, it needs to respect our economic reality. When they ask that question about Medicare, the truth is that we don't have enough people to pay for the people on Medicare and Social Security if we don't actually add people to the workforce who are paying into it. We have the luxury of being not compassionate and stupid at the same time. It's bad policy.
Thank you. Our next question is going to be directed to Senator Jones. Economics. Small businesses are the backbone of many neighborhoods. How would you help minority-owned businesses grow and access federal resources?
We have to expand access to capital for our small businesses. And we also need to give better access to individuals for the SBA programs within our community. The reason why we have to expand access is because a lot of these federal contracts come down and you apply for those contracts, but guess what? They want you to have some type of credit line to be able to do it, and you don't have it. Many of these people don't have it. So we have to expand the access to be able to do that. The second thing we must do, we must begin to incentivize. We should incentivize those companies that do have the access to this capital, incentivize them in bringing on these small businesses who might not have that access to capital. How many small business owners that we have in here today? How many of you have ever applied for a federal grant? And how many have been denied that federal grant? And a lot of them are right here in our community. We have to expand that access. And the last thing is, we have to provide technical assistance. Technical assistance, not to fill out the paperwork, technical assistance when it comes to the procurement. That's what needs to happen, and give people better access to the Small Business Administration.
Thank you. Now, y'all gonna make me come out there. Y'all gonna make me come out there. Please, again, hold your applause. Thank you. I know, it's hard. I know. Next to Mr. Kendrick Meek Jr., the youngest candidate in this race. This one is for you, sir. What policies would you support to improve opportunities for younger Americans, including in education, employment, entrepreneurship, and what we really need, civic engagement?
Well, I want to echo the words of Oliver earlier. We need to give young people a reason to vote again, not just tell them to vote. We need to make sure that we are actually represented in Washington, that we have a voice in Washington, that we have someone who understands what it's like to be young, work hard, do everything right, and still can't get ahead, because that's the experience of a lot of young people here in South Florida. Folks that understand what it's like to live in your parents' or grandparents' house because you can't afford your first home. And that energy, that fire that's inside of me, that fight, I'm going to take it straight to Washington on behalf of all of us. I'm going to make sure that we can get access to affordable housing, that we can get home ownership programs going, that we can make sure that people have first-time home buyer programs available. There's a lot of plans I have. I don't want to, we only have 60 seconds here. But beyond that, again, it's just telling the truth, not being beholden to special interests, and ensuring that our young people are represented at the table where decisions are made.
Thank you, Attorney Meade. Next question is for Dr. Moise. Gun violence, how it affects many communities throughout South Florida. What federal legislation would you support? Yes, gun violence affects many communities here in South Florida. Gun violence.
Oh, gun violence.
Gun violence. And you're a physician, so I'm quite sure you know firsthand. What policies federally would you support in terms of combating gun violence?
First of all, I would support universal background check. Number two, enforce the illegal dealing with gun. Okay, a lot of the gun out there, is being traded, illegally. So really enforce that. Number three, create forget about assault weapons. I mean, we don't really, that's what's causing all this crime that we have right now. We'll eliminate that. Create a lot of mental health programs. Okay, a lot of the children, a lot of kids doing that, they have some mental issue. So if we have some effective mental health program, that will help alleviate the problem. The police play a significant role in this thing. So we will really make sure that police are held accountable, have program to really help increase trust between the police and the community. So like that, everything flows easier. And lastly,
that minute
don't
goes
give me more
fast.
time. 1 minute is too quick.
I know. It's all right. I want to call his name one more time. I just want to make room. The next question was supposed to be for Commissioner Jean Monissim. Is he here? Okay, just want to make note of that. So this will be the final question of this round from the moderators, and then we're going to open up the questions to you for a designated amount of time. We ask that you specifically address one of the candidates with your question. If you have a specific question for any of the candidates, please try to keep it to them specifically, because we do not have time for everyone to answer every single question, all right? So, Mr. Roderick Vereen, we'll finish out with you in terms of ethics. Public trust in government depends upon integrity. What ethics reforms would you support in Congress?
I think that Congress needs to be transparent with regard to where they're receiving the money from. I think they need to be transparent with regard to investment in stocks. That's one of the main issues that has been occurring. You go to Congress, you have a certain amount of money, but you come back, you're rich. Insider trading is taking place a lot within this government. We see it happening with the president, who has violated every emoluments clause that has ever been written, and it's been a trickle-down theory ever since. So it's a domino effect that has been occurring. And so with regard to transparency and ethics, I think it goes hand in hand. And I think that the people need to know where you're getting your money from. Thank you.
All righty. So as we prepare for audience questions, again, please try to be as specific as possible. We will complete at the end the lightning round, where we'll ask you to raise your hands if you agree or disagree with a certain policy. But let's go to audience questions. You have asked a question already, so that's okay. I will go to somebody new, please, sir. 1 minute for a response. Wait, Rod, Mr. Baltimore, you done passed. All right. Okay, all right. Question, please.
One of the biggest things that we have in the community is sports reform. We have a lot of these young guys that have made mistakes in the community that want a second chance to be able to interact with the kids. They're being forfeited because of their backgrounds of being cut. You know, they make mistakes or whatever, they still excellent role models that they can be great to help with their talents further. What would you guys do? I had shared a position on the team, conferences, what would you do reform these guys to be able to coach again?
Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Cheryl. I appreciate it. So first of all, shout out to those who helped pass the Teddy Bridgewater Act. I think that's the first thing I would like to put out there.
I can't be neutral on that. Thank you.
So I think making sure that coaches can actually coach and still be the mentors to these young people is extremely important. I understand the policy that you're speaking of, which is from the state level. The state made it clear that those who are athletic coaches, they have to go through a background screening in order to be a coach, which was for a safety issue for kids. That came from parents, right? But what I believe should happen, there are a lot of returning citizens who have come who desire to coach our children. I do not believe they should be penalized for being able to help and coach children. I do think that discretion should be given to counties and municipalities to allow those individuals to be coaches, so they're not being able to being in, I call it jail twice. When they get out, while they're in and when they get out. That's something they should be able to do to be able to mentor young people.
That is your time. Thank you. All right, let's hold our applause. Go ahead, sir.
Good evening. My name is Courtney Preston. I am a home auto and business insurance agent. And for the last 6 months, we've been helping people reduce their policies or write them new policies to save them money because they just been very high. But we just need help. We need help to assist people with getting their policies. What kind of things do you all do for homeowners, auto owners, business owners that will help them reduce their insurance policy?
We'll take 2 responses. Who would like to address it? Okay.
For the most part, the auto is going to be under state law. But one of the things that I propose for homeowners insurance is we've been seeing this all across the country. In the West, it's wildfires. In the middle of the country, it's tornadoes. We have hurricanes. What we need is a better national reinsurance program. We need the federal government to be a better backstop. Listen, the federal government's a better backstop, and you put that, you tie that in conjunction with they have to pass the savings on to residents. Our houses become a lot more affordable then. What we're seeing is they're having to absorb most of the risk. And when they absorb most of that risk, they're passing it on to us. That's pricing us out of our homes. The federal government can do something for all of its residents all over the country just by absorbing a little more of the risk. I hope that helped answer your question. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take questions. We'll go on. You asked one already as well. We'll just try to get more people involved. Where are we? Okay, in the side here. Yes, go ahead. She has a mic over there. Thank you.
So my question is for Mr. Jones. What would be your stance on the crimes against humanity that Israel is committing against the Palestinians?
Can you ask the question again?
What is your stance on Israel committing crimes against humanity against the Palestinian people?
Absolutely. So I've been clear on the stand. I represent the largest Jewish district in the state of Florida. And I'll be clear that both Palestinians and Israelis have the right to live in security. They have the right to live in dignity and be treated with humanity. Israel has the right to exist as they do and also defend themselves. But in the same breath, Palestinian people, we need to be clear, the civilians are not Hamas. Hamas is a terrorist organization, and they should be called out for what it is. The last thing I'll say is that it is important for me that when I go to Washington, D.C., I'm going to be looking for a pathway to peace for both Israel and for those who are in Palestine.
We'll take one question in the side there, right in the purple shirt.
Can I say something to this?
Yeah, go ahead. You can. I actually want to hear each of your stance on Israeli-United States relations. I think that's a powerful question, and that's what's in my spirit. So I know I said it would only be directed. Let's go down the line and talk about if you are elected, What is your position when it comes to United States-Israel relations?
Like Chef said, Israel has a right to exist as a nation. And as a retired officer in the Air Force, I want to say that we should continue to support Israel in terms of defensive system to protect against rockets against the citizens. This is important. Number two, it should be priority that Iran should not develop a nuclear weapon. I mean, this is an absolutely yes, and I think that Israel and Palestine should coexist together, and then having, as long as security is there. So I think that's the way it should be.
That is your time. I would like to hear from Mr. Meek. Go down the line, please.
So my generation has scrolled through more violence and more terror than I think any generation before in human history. No, absolutely. And that's why when I get to Congress, I'll ensure that not a single dime of our money is spent on destroying homes, killing people, starving young children. Like, I've seen enough. It stops as soon as I get to Congress. I promise you that here today. Okay? And we need to make sure that we enforce the Leahy Law, which essentially says that our money will not be used to finance violence and humanitarian crises. And that's for any country across the world that takes our financial and military aid. Any country. So the violence ends as soon as I get to office. Thank you for that question.
Yeah, I got to tell you, if there are crimes against humanity, they should be tried in the international court. I got to tell you that, listen, I can appreciate that there are people different on both sides of this, but our relationship with Israel has to be stronger than Bibi Netanyahu and Donald Trump. Well, we have strategic alliances. They are a strategic alliance. Whether you like what they do or not, we have alliances all over this country, and we don't have to agree with what they do. But we do understand that in some ways, they're the best representative, they're the tip of the spear and our shield. So I appreciate Kendrick's position. I appreciate Chevron's position, but I'm an ally of Israel for that reason. And it has nothing to do with Donald Trump. It has nothing to do with Bibi Netanyahu. When they're both long gone, I still believe that our relationship with Israel has to be strong and it has to exist. Thank you.
Mr. Vereen, please hold your applause.
Let me just say that I hate what is taking place between Israel and Palestine. I think the killing of people on either side is a terrible thing. I hate it as much as I hate what we are doing currently right now. The United States, that is. It's senseless. Because I've always been told that everything can be resolved through communication. And the fact that we're not doing that bothers me. Now, whether this is genocide or not, the powers that be have not made that determination. Just hear me out.
Pause. No comments, please. Let him finish.
The United States gives Israel $3.8 billion every year for them to buy weapons back from the United States to protect themselves. They don't do the same thing with Palestine because their aid to Palestine is humanitarian. Is a two-state solution the solution? I don't know. But what I can say is that if it is determined that Israel is committing genocide, as my colleague said, the international courts will deal with that.
Time.
And the United States should not give any further aid to them until it stops.
Thank you. Thank you. And final comment.
You know, we're talking about a 1,000-year war that's being sparked over and over and over again. It's not going to be settled in any of our 2 years in office. But we must be very truthful about what's going on and look at the leadership and what is happening. We support two states. We support Israel. We support humanitarianism. We need to stop killing mothers and babies for no reason.
All right, we'd like to ask that if you've already asked a question, give someone else a chance, but we will allow for this question.
I did not ask 34 them a question. I asked the Senate a question, so I beg to differ with you, ma'am. My question is...
This is a house of peace.
I understand. My question is, in terms of dealing with transgender sports, I would like to ask the two gentlemen, Meeks and Senator Jones. What is your position on how we should deal with transgenders playing sports with females?
I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this right now. I will not respond to Elizabeth Judd, who went on. And let me tell you why. I will not respond to anybody who have gone on Facebook to try to disparage me or anybody else. So I will not be responding to that question.
We would like the other response.
Conduct yourself accordingly.
Conduct yourself like the man upstairs is watching. Please. Let's try our best. Go ahead.
I respect my friend Chevron Jones, and I'm not going to respond to that question either.
We have time for... We try to get to as many people as possible, but you guys are going to cut the time. 4 questions starting now. Go ahead.
Okay. 80% of Democrats hold an unfavorable view of Israel. 75% believe we should condition end all aid to Israel. This month, every Democrat in the state of Florida, including Congressman Wilson, voted down an amendment to stop aid to Israel except one, which is Maxwell Frost. Given that we have spent $23 million since October 7th assisting Israel's slaughter of 20,000 children, regardless of what you want to call it, and how that money is so desperately needed right here in the poorest district in Florida, would you represent the will of Democrat voters and support discontinuing aid to Israel, especially given Israel's insurmountable international law and human rights violations, which also break our own country's Leahy laws since before Bibi Netanyahu and Donald Trump?
Sis, thank you. That's a mouthful. So what I'll do in order to preserve order, since it sounds like, again, we've kind of touched on the Israel relations question, I'm going to do it by raise of hands. If you support discontinuing funding, all funding is what you're asking?
While they're being accused of human rights violations, I mean, to wait until a genocide is over is a little too late.
Let's take your positions on funding of Israel during this conflict and beyond. Go ahead, 30 seconds.
I think we should fund peace, diplomacy, feeding people, making sure that we're taking care of their well-beings and their needs, rather than throwing money at wars.
Will you support funding Israel?
I support funding peace.
All right, well, all right, next. His answer. Okay.
Until it has
yes
been
or no answer.
Until it has been adjudicated.
would say remove that embargo on Cuba because it's affecting the people of Cuba. So try to find another way to deal with the government, but please remove the damn embargo to let the people leave.
All right. To Mr. Attorney Meek.
So I just want to make it clear that I'm opposed to the dictatorship in Cuba, but I'm not opposed to the Cuban people. And I think that's why we need to probably reassess our foreign policy towards Cuba, but I think that's a conversation we need to have with our Cuban brothers and sisters here in South Florida first.
Commissioner Gilbert.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to end the embargo to Cuba. I'm not going to vote to do that right now. The challenge is, what do you do if it's not the embargo? The embargo is trying to strangle the finances, make it uncomfortable. There are a lot of people who want military intervention, and I'm not supporting that. So if we send aid to Cuba right now, what we'd be doing is propping up a regime that oppresses its people and supports our adversaries. So while I appreciate things are tough, we have to look at what all of the options are. Not just this, oh, let's end the embargo and give them food and give them money. We can do that, but they're also, they're supporting China, they're supporting Russia, they're supporting others. So no, I can't do that. Sorry.
As much as I would love to say yes, because I love cafe con leche, I love the Cuban culture, I love cojibas, I really love cojibas, I don't think that we should be able to lift the embargo right now. Listen, there's still a communist dictatorship, and as long as they remain a communist regime, I don't think the embargo should be lifted.
Thank you.
I think whatever action we take in Cuba or wherever we are doing international diplomacy, we need to look at why we're doing what we're doing. If ending embargo or cutting down embargo would help develop better relationship, then we should look at ending it. If it does not, then we should use that to our advantage and to the advantage of democracy.
Thank you. We'll take our next audience question. Please stand.
Good evening, everyone. My question is for Senator Jones. Good evening. I want to know, in Washington, are you going to be addressing gun reform?
In the short answer, yes. As a matter of fact, Congressman Maxwell Frost put forth a legislation that passed both the House and the Senate, which was comprehensive gun reform that I don't believe has gone far enough. I do believe that we need to put a ban on assault weapons within this country, and we should also bring forth smart gun legislation into this country. And not only will I fight for it, I fought for it in Tallahassee, and I will continue doing that.
Oh, wait, we'll go. See, I got eyes, I got fingers. Hold on now. We'll go here, here, and here. I'm going to do a lightning round that I think will answer a lot of the questions that probably some of you have, but we have to speed up a little bit because we're not going to be here all night praying and fasting and all that. All right, we love the enthusiasm. The candidates are here, though, so you can ask them directly. They'll have some time to mix and mingle at the end. We'll take this question at the outset.
Yes. Hello. My question is to anyone that wants to answer it. I want to get the truth. I represent a bank of employees for AT&T. I also represent the community of Miami Shore. I continually ask this question. Everybody said getting people in the homes. What are we going to do when people are in the homes and the insurance goes up? This is a scenario that I want you guys to give me an answer to. My neighbor, is losing his house because the insurance companies are moving out. Now the insurance companies that are there are raising the fees. Now he cannot afford that. Now the mortgage company is foreclosing because he can't afford it. Now he goes through a process where he's been in that house with a 3% mortgage. Now he has to refinance because he had to get another insurance company. Now that percentage is up to 7% now.
Yes, sir. So your question.
Actually, what are we doing? What are you guys have? Any of you guys have a plan to keep these people in homes?
All right, we'll start with. Go ahead.
So the federal government can enact a backstop to home insurance plans when there's a catastrophic event like a hurricane or a storm, etc. There's legislation pending now that would provide a backstop at $250,000. If the damages go over that amount, the federal government covers it. That lowers, the home insurance rates here in South Florida and in other disaster-prone areas. But as a condition of that backstop, the federal government can require insurance companies to cap the amount that your insurance premiums go up every year. So we could cap it at, say, 5%, 10%, so that nobody's priced out of their home because they can't afford their premiums.
Thank you. Who else would like to take? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's what I said before. The exact same thing. But I would add, it's not just the insurance, right? So sometimes you don't want to hear that the answer is probably the political process. People sent, and this really is not a shot at anyone up here, but we send state representatives and state senators, primarily Republicans, we sent them to Tallahassee to deal with property insurance. And they came back with a proposal to limit property taxes that will cut your services from police, parks, and fire.
10 seconds. Mm-hmm.
So just sometimes the answer is we really need to pay more attention and ask these questions to the elections, the people who can actually deal with it more. And that's on the state level.
Time.
Can I give a 1 minute answer?
Yes, please.
Let me tell you what I did. In 2000, I bought a house. And at that time, I got the house through Citizens Insurance. They were the ones that insured my house.
We're going to get 30 seconds. Go ahead.
They were, the first year, they was $7,500. The following year, it went up to $15,000. For no reason other than Citizens says we have a right to do it and we're going to do it. So I refused to pay it. The bank says when we put forced place insurance on it, forced place insurance came back, it was only $9,000. And that's how I wrote it out. I just paid the forced place insurance and then never got foreclosed on.
All right.
That's an option.
Anybody else want to comment on this? And sorry, go ahead, Rodney.
Yeah, I just want to interject that. That is a hot button issue. I know you were in the congressional office, and this is a state issue with the property taxes. But I'd just like to get each of the panelists' take on property tax groups and Amendment 3.
It's dangerous.
Let's be clear what we're talking about. We know that there's an amendment that's going to be on the ballot that's going to ask we, the people, whether we agree with removing property tax. Have you guys heard about this? So we want to hear where the candidates stand on whether we should be supporting removing property tax through this amendment or not, okay? So let's listen to what they have to say. 30 seconds each, guys. Go ahead.
Let me just say this before you start. It is going to impact you whether you own a home or not, so please pay attention.
Oh, yeah. All right, shh.
Just in 30 seconds, it's really dangerous. I've committed myself to actually just telling you what's going to happen. When I speak to the mayor and my colleagues, what I'm telling you is tell them the truth. Tell them we will have to actually cut fire employees. We will have to actually close parks. We will have to actually not hire more police officers. I need you to know that if you do this, people will tell you, oh, they can just get more efficient. It does not work that way. Efficiencies they're talking about are firing people. Efficiencies they're talking about are cutting services. If you vote for that, that's your choice, but you have to be willing to actually absorb that as a loss. I am not voting for that.
Okay.
I'm not voting for that.
All right.
I'm also a no on it also, but let me tell you why you should be a no. $51 billion. The $51 billion gap that the state of Florida is going to have to figure out how they're going to have to fill that gap. The governor has not told us how they're going to fill that gap. The last thing I'll tell you in my last 15 seconds is this, that the state legislature, you already have to go through the budgetary appropriations process for cities and municipalities to get services. Imagine if they cut homestead property taxes and the services that you need do not get appropriated and the county or the city don't have that money, those services will be cut and then you will be complaining to your elected officials, but they can't do anything about it. Vote no on the amendment.
That's your time. All right, hold your applause. We got to get the lightning round. Let's go.
I would save so much money if this goes. But you know what? It's not about me. It's about the community. It's about the service that are needed for the community. I can pay my property taxes, but I think this is more important to get the service needed by the municipalities. So I would go against it.
Thank you.
I stand with everyone what has been said, that we need not lower taxes. When you lower taxes, you're going to lower services, and you're going to raise fees. It's going to be devastating. We went through this once before during the Charlie Crist administration when taxes was lowered, and we had a tremendous time even salvaging some vital programs in this community.
Everybody up here is right with regard to the answer. And if you really want to know what services are going to be cast aside, just look at your notice that they give you before taxes are due. You know how they always send that notice out, and you see you're paying for schools, you're paying for fire, you're paying for this. Those are the services you're going to lose. You can't afford to lose those services. So you vote no for Amendment 3.
I'm voting no on Amendment 3. I know that as a consequence of it passing, local governments will have to cut their workforces by almost 2/3. As the children of two public servants myself, I know what that means for our communities. It means that we're going to have less money flowing through our communities, fewer jobs, more people struggling. It's bad for Florida. Vote no on Amendment 3.
Thank you guys for your insight. Question here.
Good evening. My name is Karana Denise, and I am the Deputy Editor for the State of the People Black Papers Policy Project. Many of the priorities outlined here tonight require 218 votes in the House and 60 votes in the Senate, particularly when seeking to establish effective checks and balances on the current administration. How are you actively building the coalitions necessary to reach those vote thresholds, and how are you ensuring that your constituents and voters understand the legislative realities, constraints, and collaboration required to accomplish meaningful results in Congress?
Who would like to take that? That's a very thoughtful question. Go ahead.
I'll take it. 30 seconds. Respect for all my colleagues up here. I'm the only legislator who's sitting up here who has been able to pass legislation in a Republican-led legislature. You do have to build coalition in order to pass any type of legislation. I am not afraid to go office by office to be able to lobby for my bills. I'm also not afraid to take the people who I'm filing that legislation for and not the policy, because that's how I have been able to get mammograms, because I absolutely believe that's important. So just to acknowledge you being a breast cancer survivor, and congratulations. The last thing I'll say is for pregnant women. Our pregnant women, after they have their baby, they're having to go back to work after almost 6 weeks. Do you know the recommendation for a doctor is 15 weeks? We should incentivize jobs to allow women that after they have their child, that they stay with their baby for at least 15 to 16 weeks that's required by doctors.
Thank you. Dr. Maurice, I give you the last word on this. Senator Jones, will you pass me the microphone, please? Thank you.
The one big beautiful bill cut Medicaid by $1 trillion, and 100,000 people are off Medicaid. But to answer your questions, I think that there's a proposal that I will do when I get to Congress, is Medicare, instead of getting at 65, getting it at 55. Why? Because if you were to get Medicare at 55, you could get all this preventive care at an early age. So if you can go to the doctor and get screening for the diseases that affect our population, diabetes, hypertension, breast cancer,
10 seconds, please, and thank you.
I'm sorry. Plus, working people between the age of 55 and 64, right now, if they want to retire, they cannot, because they will lose their insurance. But if they join the Medicare at 55, they can retire, they can open a business, and still have their insurance.
Ms. Jean Jacket, you have been waiting right here. Her, and that's it. I'm going to the lightning round. We will be out of here in about 15 minutes. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity. Hi, my name is Shanika Mulkey. I am a part of Peace in the Hood United, a local community organization in this community. So my question is regarding education and our black young men. Education is one of the strongest pathways to economic development, yet many black students continue to face achievement gaps, limited access to workforce preparation, and disciplinary practices that contribute to the prison to pipeline schools, right? So if elected, what specific policies would you champion to ensure black children receive a high quality education, have access to career and technical education, apprenticeships, and wealth building and financial literacy programs in schools. Every child in our community should be leaving high school with an AA or certified in some type of training that could help them get employment.
All right, we're gonna have Commissioner Gilbert, Mr. Modesty. We'll get to you next, and then
I'm
we'll
sorry.
see. Go ahead, Commissioner Gilbert.
Yeah, I started standing up before you actually finished answering the
30
question because I'm
seconds.
excited about it. Listen, I actually have a plan on my website that talks about this. Every child, either college ready, tech ready, or life ready. We know what it takes to actually be successful. We can invest in the fields that are actually out there they're going to need. We can invest in making them electricians, plumbers, pipe fitters when they leave high school. We can do that. The federal government needs to be sending now dollars to districts to do that, straight to the district. And listen, I'm endorsed by Frederica Wilson. 5,000 Role Models of Excellence has been the most successful disruption of the school to prison pipeline in this country. Expand it.
All right, time.
Expand it.
Time, thank you.
Let me just take another one. First with privilege right now. We do have one other candidate in the race. This is John Modesty. Those of you from Miami-Dade County may know him as he served as a commissioner. He's going to answer that question, but he's also going to be a little bit about himself. A lot of that time right now. We're a little ahead of schedule, so we're going to do this.
A minute and a half, thank you.
Well, good evening, everyone. First, as a leader, I'd like to apologize for being late, but let me explain. I'm a politician. I think everybody, politician, appreciate having a crowd in front of them. Unfortunately, I did not receive an invitation to this event. And I'll say this. No, not to the fault of anyone. I responded to a questionnaire, and I had an interview online, and never receive a follow-up with this address. Luckily, there are voters here who are interested in hearing everyone who called me while I was at another event and asked me why is it that I'm not here. For anyone who's been following this conversation, I've been at every gathering, at every forum, and at every debate. Not to blame anyone.
Okay, so let's take a minute and just say why we should report.
No, not to blame anyone, but I don't have the invitation. I never had the invitation.
Why would you want voters to support you?
Well, my name is Jean Monistim. I'm running for Congress in District 24 for the following matters. The 5 pillars of my campaign are growing the economy and creating jobs. And I'll answer your question about the job creation. I think the government should invest in educating people who want to follow a college education career, in retraining people who are losing their jobs because of AI, because of technology in general. And the government, if they cannot find the funds to do so, should stop the war and reinvest these dollars in the economy. And so doing, they can reimburse employers who actually spend the money up front to retrain their employees.
30 seconds.
Second, that's in the job creation. The second thing we want to do, I want to support and advocate and support for the PRO Act, the protecting the right to organize, which is a labor movement act. We all understand the importance of labor movement. I'm not endorsed, by the way, by any labor organization, but I used to be endorsed by, I got endorsed by them in the past, and I understand the type of work they're doing. That's exactly, I think these 2 policy track would be able to help families that are currently working and want to better themselves and their loved ones. Thank you so very much.
We appreciate you making the effort to be here. Now I keep getting eyes that say, let's close. And then I keep getting eyes that say, one more question. So this is it.
Is there one more question?
Praise God.
All right, I'm going to bring it on.
Last question.
Okay, so what I wanted to say was about the insurance that we were speaking on. I actually work for a housing department, and what is happening, what we're seeing and constantly happening is that because the insurance is separate from the mortgage, they're coming in for mortgage foreclosure and for insurance foreclosure. So when you're getting a finance, put them separate, put them together. You don't have a double fight on your hands, and it's predatory is what's going on with that. They're taking advantage of homeowners when they're doing it. So I would love to somebody to, you don't have to answer that, but when you go and you win, Mr. Gilbert, please remember that. And remember our teachers.
Thank you.
Remember our teachers.
Ma'am, thank you. We just wanted a question. It was? Okay, so no. Thank you. Go ahead. Well, this lady has been patient. Okay. Where's your mic? Can you please, one last question. And then I'm getting to the speed round. I want to say yes or no, hands up, hands down, yes or no. Ooh, yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Voting Rights Act. Are you in favor of expanding the Supreme Court, and are you in favor of term limits?
So yes to term limits on the Supreme Court. Do we need them? And speak to it quickly, under 30 seconds. Supreme Court term limits or increasing the size and adding the number of justices? We'll start at the end.
I think we should be able to increase the size of the Supreme Court.
And do you support term limits on the Supreme Court?
I do support term limits on the Supreme Court as well.
Okay, so no lifetime appointment?
No lifetime appointment.
Mr. Vereen?
I don't think it should be expanded, and I don't believe that there should be limits, term limits.
Okay, as is, remaining status quo. Mr. Pass the mic, because we're doing speed round.
I'm in favor of expanding the Supreme Court, and I don't believe in term limits.
Don't believe in term limits, but expansion. Okay?
I'm in favor of expanding the Supreme Court, and I'm in favor of term limits.
Okay, thank you.
I'm in favor of expanding the Supreme Court, and I'm in favor of term limits also.
Okay. You want term limits, but not expansion. Okay.
I'm in favor of expanding the court, and I'm in favor of term limits as well.
All right, speed round, continuing. Brief explanation, if any. Do you support raising the federal minimum wage? Starting at the end, let's go.
Yes. Absolutely. Yes, $17.
Yes.
Yes. Another question. Do you believe in eliminating the Social Security earnings cap? Do you believe in eliminating the Social Security earnings cap? Starting at the end.
I think there should be not.
One more time, they didn't hear you, sir? It says eliminate the Social Security earnings cap. Yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you in the back.
Yes, and do you mind just explaining to the folks?
No, you go ahead and do it.
Sorry.
You have 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Okay, so the Social Security earnings cap, essentially if you earn more than $186,000, none of that goes into Social Security. So essentially millionaires and billionaires, they don't have to pay anything extra for Social Security after $186,000. If we remove that cap, Social Security would sell them to like 20. So we absolutely need to remove that cap.
Thank you. Thank you for explaining it. Senator Jones?
Yes.
The answer is yes.
Okay, starting with Commissioner Monestine. Do you agree with expanding affordable housing tax credits? Expanding affordable housing tax credits?
Yes, most definitely. And I do need to say in my things that we need to do, not just expanding the tax credit, but creating a new threshold where more middle income and more middle income individuals can participate, because people that make between $70,000 and $100,000 right now may be capped out of the current threshold, and we need to include these people, especially if they live in major metropolitan area where the cost of living is too high.
All right, thank you. Affordable housing tax credit, yes or no, as soon as you please?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Universal, Universal background checks, yes or no, please? For what? We'll skip it. Ban on assault weapons. Federal ban on assault weapons. Would you support a federal ban on assault weapons, yes or no?
I support a tax on assault weapons.
Oh, universal background check was on weapons too. He wrote that question. So if you want to address it there, go ahead. So you said tax, sir?
Yes. Weapons should be taxed, and they should be made to pay for any damage that the weapons do.
All righty.
No as far as the ban, yes as far as switches. You know what switch is?
No. Yes, no.
Just reverse the handgun to
Okay. Like the bump stock or whatever that is called? Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah, I didn't realize we had 30 seconds, so yes. So I'm going to say yes and yes, but I just want to drill down a little bit on what he said. We focus on assault weapons, but in the real world now, those handguns and that switch change your regular 9mm into an assault weapon. Okay. And so we need to actually focus on all guns, not just assault weapons. A lot of people get killed with handguns too.
Okay, so you do agree with universal background as well as a ban on assault weapons. Okay.
So I agree with the universal background checks. A ban on assault weapons I don't agree with. I think we should raise the age for buying all firearms from 18 to 21.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, but I also believe that we should work along with county and municipalities to bring more programs to get the guns off of our street, and I'm talking about black market guns that individuals are buying.
All right, thank you.
Yes, for universal background and ban on assault weapon. We're not at war. We are here local in the community. We don't need these.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I support banning assault weapons. Can I use my 25 seconds to respond to another question that was asked earlier about insurance? I agree with Woody that Medicare should start at 55, but there's something else that we must do for people who are not yet 55. If they're able to pay for insurance, just like we provide currently a tax credit of 7.5%, for medical expenses, we also should give a tax credit between 15 to 20% for medical premium that are paid by the individuals who buys insurance in the market.
It is time for our closing statements. We'll start with you, 2 minutes. Thank you again for being here, Commissioner Monestein.
Thank you for the honor. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm going to stay longer for anyone who wants to ask me a question because, as I've said earlier, I've been on time or ahead of time at every gathering because I take this very seriously where we're invited to speak to voters. My name is Jean Monestein. I'm running for Congress in this. The reason why I make this decision in this race, consider what's at stake. It is because after arriving here 45 years ago in Paul, South Florida, my home, with my mom not being here, with my dad not being here and arriving alone, I joined a church that became my family. And this was encouraging me to go to school, behave, and become somebody. Afterward, because of their encouragement, I was able to start a small business, finishing college, taught public school for a couple of years, taught adjunct courses as a business professor, and also started a family. I learned that in America, you achieve the American dream when you really not just accomplish the things that you said you accomplish, but also when you help others surpass what you accomplished.
30 seconds.
And the challenge in District 2 is that many working individuals right now, many families are challenged by the economy, by the cost of living, by the inability to make ends meet, by the cost of insurance, both property insurance and health insurance. And if you look at my record in the County Commission as chairman of the board, I established the Chairman Council for Prosperity Initiative,
10 seconds,
which was aimed at elevating people. Some of these policies are currently being implemented right now by the county administration 4 years after I left office.
I'm afraid that's your time.
Result, I'll bring
told me there were no businesses open. I said, we deserve to have businesses. You said the parks are closed, our kids need to stay out of trouble. I opened them and put $1 million in the program. When I went to the county, you talked to me about paying parental leave. That's a great idea. It's so great that I actually did it for county employees. You told me about workers' rights to organize. And when the state was attacking them, I protected them. You told me about paid sick leave for security guards. And I made it happen. Yes, sir. She endorsed me because she said I would go to Washington and do what needed to be done. She knows all of us. The person who's doing the job right now, the person who's in Washington right now doing the job said, out of everybody who's running, this person's best to actually do the job.
30 seconds.
I appreciate everyone's positions. I appreciate their opinions. I also appreciate those are words. I have work. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
If I was in a trial right now, I would really be worried about what the verdict is going to be in the case. And let me tell you why. Let me say this as seriously as I can say it. I'm looking at your faces. And you want me to tell you what none of you all have heard here tonight? From anybody up here? An economic plan. Nobody asked us about an economic plan. I told you before, District 24 is the poorest district in the state, and nobody said, well, what's the plan to get us out of there? So here's your homework assignment tonight. And if this doesn't make you say to yourself, I'm voting for Roger Ray, then I'll tell you right now, don't vote for me. I want you to go home and Google this. In fact, go into your phones. Because everybody got phones. You got your phones. Go into your Copilot or the ChatGPT. And I want you to ask yourself, if this district built AI training centers, which dealt with STEM jobs, and included edge, node, digital infrastructures, how much revenue will this district get over the period of 10 years? And if it does not come back and say $8.5 billion, up to $22 billion, don't vote for me. Roger.
Thank you, sir.
Once again, my name is Marshall Harris. I'm not a politician, I'm a truth teller. And the truth is that District 24 is not the poorest district. It is one of the most affluent districts. It has more billionaires than millionaires. But it also has the most challenged areas in this district. Liberty City, Overtown, Brownsville. I live in those districts. And I have not accepted the fact that people cannot be lifted up from where they are to where they need to be. And that's why my program, as I had defined it, has enabled kids to go to Yale, to Harvard, to Juilliard, to win Academy Awards. So I'm probably the only one on this platform that someone has made a movie about because of the success of what they have done in the community. Instrument Star, a model formation. I've had kids in my program, I taught them, I gave them a chance to volunteer, I hired them, and I sent them all onto a career that they can live their own dream. This program is a model foundation. Why? Because of strategy, because of structure, because of the schedule that leads to success. That should be the model for any and everything we do. That's economic development.
30 seconds.
My name is Marshall Davis. I'd like to have you vote. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. We appreciate all of the candidates for participating today. We thank you for your transparency and for taking the time to meet with your constituents. And on behalf of the Broward County Democratic Black Caucus and the Miami-Dade Democratic Black Caucus, thank you. Let's hear it for the candidates from District 24. If you are running for an office, thank you, gentlemen. You may take your seats. We appreciate you hanging out in case the constituents want to ask you any questions. We are done. If you are running for, we have refreshments. Church announcements. Hello. Church announcements. Photo op.
Photo op for the candidates, please.
There is voter registration going on in the very back. I was going to acknowledge people who are running for office who also showed up, but thank you to the candidates who are running in different races. Thank you to our timekeeper, Ms. Laverne Deere. Alrighty, I guess. That's all she wrote. Everybody, I thank you again for having.
Everyone, there is some pizza and some drinks.
We have food. We have food. We have food. We're in the very back.
In the very back, in the cafeteria.
Come to the front and go to the cafeteria. Come to the front, go through these side doors to the cafeteria. We have food. We have food. We thank you for coming on behalf of my co-moderator, Mr. Rodney Baltimore. I'm Suzette Speaks. It's been my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So nice. Listen. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please make your way. Let them have the quick photo op. And then we're going to hit to the back for some pizza and refreshment. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Voter registration in the front. Voter registration in the front. And we appreciate everyone for coming. Smile. Hold on, Rodney. Rodney, come in it. Rodney, come in it. All right, Rodney, come in it. Rodney, come in it. All right, excuse me, ma'am. Can you back up? Can you back up? Can you back up? Ma'am, you're in the picture. Ma'am. Can you back up? Can you back up? Thank you. Taking a picture. Smile. 1, 2, 3. Cheese. Thank you so much. Please have a great evening. All right, and we might need security right in this area. Okay, we appreciate you, everybody, for coming. Voter registration in the very front. Voter registration in the very front. Thank you for coming. We hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yeah, let's have you and Rodney. Okay.
Baltimore. How's it going? How you been? Pretty good. I'm reaching out to you tomorrow morning, Jason and I, so we can plan next steps. Okay. We're at a crucial moment. Thank you. Yeah, of course. Senator Jones. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Very intentional. Did you tell?